Podcast.
Hello, welcome to another ramble.
Did you guys practice that without me? Why are you so insane?
I thought that you would have caught on after 292 episodes.
Dude, this is the 293rd episode, Lauren, so.
Sorry.
Can you guys believe we're almost? Can you believe? Wait, real quick. Did you guys ever watch that Kanye Kim interview? Where she's like, we don't even have, someone was interviewing Kanye.
We don't even have a hot tub. It's like, we don't even have a hot tub.
Can you believe? And he goes, can you believe we don't have a jacuzzi?
A jacuzzi?
It's so good. Every time I say, can you believe?
I did not see
Oh my God, you have to watch it. Every time I myself say, can you believe? I think of him saying, can you believe we don't have a jacuzzi? Can you believe we are almost at 300 episodies?
Wow.
Episodies. That means we almost be doing this for 6 full years.
That doesn't make sense.
Are you sure that math is correct?
6 years?
Well, yeah, because didn't we record like the first episode go live on like January 1st of that year? So like if you kind of
2018.
Yeah, if you map out the rest of the episodes, it's before you know
to 2020, 2020 to 2021, 2021, 2022, 5 years, Ashley.
Oh. Yeah. So we will have completed 5 full years.
That doesn't make sense to me.
I don't like time passing by. I don't like, Ashley's always like, can you believe it's been 6 months? Can you believe it's been 10 years? I'm like, I don't want to know the passage of time. And it makes me feel terrible.
I also hate when I say, can you believe how much time has gone by? Because I'm like, in my head, I'm like, yeah, well, that's how time works, Naz.
I guess
yes,
so.
I can't believe.
I don't know. Ashley's fascinated with the passage of time.
I've always been. I was the person who, I know I've said this before, but it'd be like, we had gone on a cruise 30 weeks ago. I'd have been like, can you believe it's been 30 weeks since we were on that cruise?
Along with our airplane shooting off, whenever we talk about
I was going to say,
Ashley needs a cruise tally counter of how many times she says cruise.
Cruise. Okay, but how do you make a cruise sound? Because
I don't know. Is that what a cruise sounds like? It sounds like a tugboat.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's how they blow the horn when they're saying, we're going to leave in an hour. Better get on.
I have a question. Remember Thomas the railroad? Thomas the train?
Thomas the tank engine?
Thank you. Thomas Tank Engine. There was a show I watched that also involved tugboats when I was little. Is that the same show or is that different?
I don't know, but he used to have a lot of friends. That may have been one of them.
So how would a train be friends with a tugboat, though?
They're all,
modes of transpo?
Of the technology of the 1800s.
All right.
A steamboat. I'm thinking steamboat.
All right.
A tugboat. What is a tugboat?
I don't know.
I definitely remember a childhood tugboat.
Right? There were boats on the water talking to each other.
The tugboat? I don't know.
If you guys were around back in the day, what occupation, since last week we had an occupational series, what job do you think you would have done back in the day? It could be any era.
What era?
That's a good question.
It could be any fucking era. Because I kind of think I'd be a cowgirl. I don't know why.
I do not see that. Why do you think that?
I don't know. I feel like I'd be like, this is fucking cool. And I'd want to be, I don't know. I'd want to be a
cowgirls even a thing?
Yeah, what do you mean? Horses is literally how we got around and built civilization.
Yeah, but did women control cattle?
This is a hypothetical situation, so I'm not going to entertain your weird questions. I'm telling you that I would be a cowgirl.
Okay, fine. Now it gets to be a cowgirl. Lauren, what are you?
Or an astronaut, but I could do that now, obviously.
I'm a milkmaid.
Yeah, 1,000% Lauren is accurate. Yeah.
Ashley, what would you be?
Why do I feel like I'm a seamstress at a factory worker? I mean, in a factory. I feel like I'm in an assembly line, doing one certain stitch.
In no hypothetical scenario do I see you happily in an assembly line.
Ashley,
that's a hard no.
You're not super good with your hands, like a seamstress.
I'm horrible with my hands. I feel like I'm struggling at a factory.
You're struggling with your hands. So.
Ashley, you would just be a socialite. Or a princess.
Well, that's nice. I guess I'm just trying to be realistic, what would you be in the early 1900s?
We should pick it for each other now.
You know what? I probably would be a midwife or something because I'm so fascinated with women.
Yeah.
I guess you could do that. Yeah.
Medicine.
Or you'd be a doctor, Ash.
I'd be, what's her name? I was so entranced by her as a kid. Elizabeth, whatever, the first female doctor. Elizabeth. I love that
you know it, like the name.
I did book reports and everything I could on her.
What a loser.
Elizabeth, first female.
I'm trying to think, what would Naz
be? Elizabeth Blackwell.
Very good.
And I was like, yeah,
shout out to Elizabeth Blackwell. I would also, I think, would like to think that back in the day, I would have been like an apprentice of a philosopher. Like I would have worked under Aristotle and like spoke to him about stars and how the world works.
That's
these are like very ambitious.
I was going to say ambitious. Yes.
I'm not making fun of you. I think you're down to be ambitious, but like I need to like, what era are we in?
I'm saying it doesn't matter. It's whatever you want. Just anything back in the day. What would you have been?
Well, then of course I'd want to be a princess. I wouldn't want to take responsibility of a queen.
A princess.
You can't just choose to be a princess. This is so unrealistic.
Yes, you can. You can find this is fucking hypothetical. Nothing gets my gears going when I ask people a question that's like a hypothetical, and they're like, and then they start talking about the parameters, and I'm like, this is fucking not real.
Okay, yeah, I get that. I played that game this weekend. Like, one thing to bring to a desert island. I'm like, do I have Wi-Fi? Do I have this? Or I'm like, just what do you want to bring?
Exactly. Like, shut the fuck up.
I don't know. All I can see are my small titties being lifted up with a corset somewhere, you know? That's all I can imagine.
A pirate.
Yeah. I would like pour bourbon at the bar with my titties all hoisted. That's what I imagine.
Yeah. Is that what the milk, what
milkmaid?
Yeah, what is a milkmaid?
No,
is she the same as a milkman?
That, like, she like milks the cows and then delivers and then like holds the pails of milk and then delivers it to your door.
Yeah.
Okay, so she is like a milkman, but like
a sexy version,
like a woman.
But I guess like a milkman was always like the jars, you know, or the jars or whatever.
Milkman is like the 50s, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But a milkmaid probably like actually took it from the barn to the house.
Exactly.
Now, do you want to know, like, if we were to meld worlds right now, do you know what women used to do if this is like because it has to do with milk and also Ashley's like tidbit about reproductive women stuff. Do you know what women used to do when they couldn't produce milk and there was no such thing as formula?
They drink cow's milk.
No, you're not like apparently women of all generations knew that like babies, infants weren't really like supposed to drink cow's milk, which I find fascinating. I don't know how we figured this out, but what women used to do if they didn't produce milk or had a hard time breastfeeding,
they drink the pee.
They would have, Lauren, are you kidding me? They would have one woman in the community that was like the boobies of the community.
That makes sense.
And like baby.
She was the incubator.
Like would go to them to feed.
Takes a village.
Wow.
Seriously.
Wow, that's cool.
Takes a village.
Wild.
Yeah.
Well, don't watch the, quote, Milkmaid American Horror Stories episode because there's this episode where this woman is the milkmaid, but she has smallpox and all these men come to drink her boils so they get immunity against smallpox, and is the grossest thing you will ever see in your life.
That's nasty.
It was disgusting,
and you loved it because you're.
But I loved every second of it.
Weirdo.
No, but it was American Horror Stories.
Oh, Lauren, you would have been a witch.
Could have been a witch.
Would have
been. Could have been a witch. Could have bewitched your man.
Would have been a witch. All right, guys, it is time to talk about lighting one up.
Light it up.
That actually sounds dirty.
No, it doesn't.
Getting it up, you know, lighting it up.
Such a square.
And when I say lighting one up, I mean, you know,
doobie.
like a doobie.
A doobie with the CBD.
But I'm exactly what Lauren said. I'm not talking about weed. I'm not talking about that stuff that makes you go crazy. And if you live alone, you think you're going to get murdered in the middle of the night because your brain's just going a million miles an hour. And you're like, why did I take this weed gummy or smoke that joint that is just making me feel like the world is ending? I am talking about the mellow, amazing magicness of dadgrass, which basically gives you all the things you want to feel from smoking a joint without like all that paranoia.
You got to keep a clear head and not get the munchies.
Keep a clear head. You get mellow. You don't have the munchies. You just feel good. I love smoking a dadgrass joint because I like smoking joints. So it gives me the satisfaction of holding something like within my hands. It makes me feel sexy and it makes me feel chill. And I literally love watching shows on dadgrass. And if you don't know what dadgrass is, it's a legal organic hemp that relaxes your body, mellows your mind. It's CBD and made with 100% organic hemp.
All Dadgrass products are federally legal for ages 18 and over, and it ships right to your door anywhere in the U.S. Go to dadgrass.com/getit to check out their products. They're really cool. They're honestly beautiful, like coffee table displays. Like they have a George Harrison a line this month, and it's like all like George Harrison. It's like black and white. It's very cool. So whether you're looking for a new buzz or a chill way to enjoy an old favorite, Dadgrass will leave you in a euphoric mood.
Right now, Dadgrass is offering our listeners 20% off your first order when you go to dadgrass.com/getit. So go to dadgrass.com/getit for 20% off your first order. That's dadgrass.com/getit.
So any I don't get it this week?
Well, I've been told that I should update everybody on the nanny ghoster.
Please.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this. Please regale us.
I've got some people ask us about the nanny ghoster. So I don't know, where did I leave off with the story? You guys would know better than I because I lived it.
Jared had called
DM'd her.
and he said that he still hadn't heard from her, right? And
She hasn't opened the message.
Yeah, she didn't open the message because I was thinking like at least then. I mean, like, because she was being active on Instagram. Did you guys know that?
Yeah. You mentioned that.
So she was being active on Instagram. So let me see if I can actually pull up the text because obviously she's not going to be my nanny and I never named her by name. So I'm not really being a shithead by calling her out. So I was so caught up in being ghosted. Like I could not get over it. So I had to text her the day after she still didn't respond to my text, or maybe there was like 48 hours in between her not responding to my text and not opening Jared's message on Instagram, yet posting on Instagram. And again, to refresh your memories, Jared and her were first DMing through Instagram, so it was going to her like real inbox.
Okay.
And she looked like she was purposely ignoring opening it so that it wouldn't say read. Okay. So I text her, hey, blank, I understand if you're not interested in the job, absolutely okay, but I'm feeling a little ghosted.
Okay.
And then she said, hi, Ashley, I'm so incredibly sorry. My phone dropped in the pool.
Wait, how long between response time and send time?
Oh, this was fast. This was 20 minutes.
Copy.
Okay.
Copy that.
Lauren, is this fresh to you too? You didn't hear the actual
I don't
dialogue?
think I really heard everything, no.
Okay. So I'm so incredibly sorry. I dropped my phone in the pool and I finally got a new one. My apologies. I didn't have your number. My friend has been posting on my Instagram on my behalf. I'm so sorry. I usually respond almost immediately. And before I read on, what are your initial takeaways?
She could have opened Jared's message on her friend's Instagram.
Her friends could have gone.
Like, oh, you also have messages. Or if she was concerned, like, oh, I was missing my first day on the job, which should have been Monday, I should have DM'd my possible employer.
I should tell my friend, hey, if you're posting about my life on Instagram.
She was with her friend. So she was with her friend. She
like
should have
maybe
been
you
just
should
checking
DM
her
the guy
DMs.
that
Yeah,
like, hey, can you send that DM?
Yeah.
So red flag number one, weird that you wouldn't think like I should reach out via DM.
Yeah.
Secondly, if the friend was really checking, don't you think the friend would be like, hey, you got a message from Jared?
Yeah.
And then
been more proactive.
finally,
Well, I guess, there's a million scenarios, but I guess I'm just thinking, why, if your phone fell, would you still want to post on Instagram? And then my immediate thought was like, so someone else could see it, like a dating person, like someone you're into. And then in that case...
Except for this girl is engaged.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah. So my thought is that my initial thought is that it's just a lie because I mean, as somebody who's like not an influencer or their job has nothing to do with posting on Instagram, I'm not sure why it's such an urgent thing to post about your weekend.
And she like
you'd have to have a friend do it.
In her response, she like was trying to cover her ass. But I'm like, oh, my friend has been posting. That's why I haven't responded. But at the same time,
so she obviously knew at that point that Jared had sent something, or knew that we were looking at her Instagram to see the activity.
Yeah. Okay. So, but why couldn't she just say something?
Sketch City.
You know, why did it take you to say that to prompt a response?
Right.
Okay. So
because also, like, if you have a Mac computer, your text might go there. Another sketch thing, guys. All my texts were being delivered and going blue and saying delivered. And if your phone was pooled,
it was pooled.
Wouldn't it be going green?
What a verb.
Yeah, I think it would be going green.
Is that a fact? Do we know that for sure?
Well,
I don't think it would say delivered. I think it would just something else would happen.
Right.
It would go green.
Right.
So, I mean, it was going somewhere. These texts were going somewhere. Okay, we got to take a minute to talk about one of my favorite meal delivery kits. It's Green Chef. So I love Green Chef because they cater to whatever you want to eat more of or less of, and, like cater to your diet. They've got keto plans, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free. When it comes to cooking at home, I like to cook mostly vegetarian because I don't like cooking meats. I think it's like kind of gross.
Chicken is gross, okay? But
we have
that's why, because making chicken is
so
gross.
Many times.
I know, and everybody knows this, so I don't like to make meat.
Sorry, did you guys see the show Yellow Jackets?
Yeah.
Okay. I always think of like the things that go down in that show when I look at like making raw chicken.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Okay, talk about that later. But right now, you guys, I want to just introduce you to this really awesome meal kit. They have 24 recipes weekly that you can choose from with the option to mix and match from different preferences. So say you want to do like keto one day and you want to do vegan the next day, you can do that. And all their meats, if you do choose to use the meat route, they're USDA or certified organic ground beef, organic chicken, wild caught sockeye salmon.
I just want to, they have a fall line, so it's fall's finest collection. They're curated, selected from farmstead favorites. So listen to this. We got beef tenderloin with pot roast style gravy, garlic mashed potatoes, my mouth is watering, with green beans, pecan crusted salmon, and roasted carrots. It's like, oh my God, so fall-y, so delicious.
It's so weird when people say pot roast, it makes me really hungry, and I don't know why that is.
Because it's just really hearty.
It just sounds like,
It's going to fill you up. That's what it's going to do. They also have fast and fit options, and those are meals under 700 calories, and you can get them ready in less than 25 minutes. So basically what we're saying is Green Chef has an option for you, whatever that option and that you want it to be.
Yes, friends. So go to greenchef.com/getit135. Use our code GETIT. GETIT, the numbers 135. And guess what? Guess what, guys? You get $135 off across 5 boxes. And guess what? Your first box ships free. I feel like Oprah right now. I mean, you guys can't sleep on this deal. Green Chef, easy meals. And this is the #1 meal kit for eating well. So try it.
So now that we've gone through and done, our speculations as to what's going on, I say to her, and I'm obviously not at all sold on the fact that she'll be our nanny at this point. I mean, like, I hate myself for even saying this, but I was like, would you still be down to come and do a trial? And then she goes, I can't this week. I can only, like, it has to be like a whole other week. She's like, I can't do it until next Monday. And this was Tuesday. And I'm like, okay, Monday works. Then 2 days later, she says, I can't believe I'm texting you this, but another opportunity came up that I can't pass up on. I'm so sorry, but I would love to recommend you somebody else.
So that's
She had,
what
like,
it was the whole time.
But she had like three opportunities to say that.
So why didn't she say that? That makes everything seem like a lie, and it makes me like really happy that she's not our nanny, because she's just probably a liar.
or
she's a
she's just
liar.
not emotionally mature enough to just be transparent with people.
I guess, but it's really easy via text.
It's
You know what I
Not
mean?
for some people. Maybe she
Dude,
because
but
she was holding you on the fish line. She was holding you in case that other one didn't come through, which is why she was like, it fell in the pool. Like, she knew exactly what she was doing. This is all my assumption. I don't fucking know this person.
Of course, this is all our assumption. But like, did she go to the interview knowing that she possibly had another thing on the agenda?
I don't even believe there's
Because
another
in that
thing on the
case-
agenda. I feel like she just kind of wanted to like go on an interview, see what would happen.
Lauren, what? Why would she? What? No, people don't spend time looking for a job for fun.
Did she spend time looking for a job? Did she look for a job, Ashley?
Yeah, interviewing is looking for a job. No,
Yeah, but like, so she was on Sitter City or whatever, care.com, whatever it was.
She was on care.com. So
Well, I don't understand this person. I am the biggest avoidance of confrontation in the entire fucking world, and I wouldn't go through all these hoops. This is exhausting.
no,
that's what I'm
makes
saying,
sense.
Lauren. You're clarifying my argument that she was just waiting
yeah.
for someone else to come through because she wouldn't go through all that.
But in that case, why not be honest to my face and be like, I've done a couple more. I've been to a couple interviews this week. I'm waiting to hear back. At our initial interview. That's very strange.
Maybe it happened after she had the interview with you.
Anyway.
And
Anyway.
Well, I mean, how were these people like offering her like $50 an hour or something?
Potentially.
Like,
Or
I want to
maybe
know
it was,
why
like,
one
closer
was
to her house
maybe it
or
was closer to her
something.
house. Maybe it was more money. Maybe it was a longer term job.
Who knows? Okay, well, I thought it was quite interesting.
I mean, maybe she
I
wants
think
to have.
that's very interesting.
I mean, it could be anything.
But you found the two great babysitters
Yeah, but
in the
you have
meantime.
a nanny, right? Or no? You still on the nanny
well,
search?
so now, guess what happened?
What happened?
What?
Because I told this story on this podcast, a nice lady's daughter listens to our podcast, and because in Rhode Island everything is 1 degree of separation, she had her husband works with Fred, and and she's also friends with Nancy's cousin Judy, and therefore, and then she came over, and things are looking good. That's I'll keep it at that.
You know what's so?
Things are looking
This
good.
is just so funny how like life just works out the way it's supposed to, and how we constantly forget that. Because had this incident never happened with this girl, which was perceived to be a bad thing, it was just a neutral thing that led to you to finding a great nanny potentially.
Very true. And add a little drama to your life, a little drama to all of our lives.
Yeah, a little story for a ramble.
A little nervous system trigger for the Ashley Iconetti.
Oh, we got that little ghosty. Yeah.
Feeling like I got ghosted for the first time in a long time.
Wow.
It's just called rejection, and we all. I hate it, but I need to stop hating it.
Okay, so do you guys have any?
I have an update similar to this topic, but it's so funny. I feel like I should be putting out bonus episodes or every other episode. If instead of doing guests with our ramble, and I've been asked this before where people are like, Naz, can you share what you're doing for your spiritual self journey because of all the shit I do? Where I literally met with Peter Crone last week, who is iconic.
Who's that?
He's called the Mind Architect. He's basically the Tony Robbins for high-profile celebrities and athletes. I've been listening to him for a while, and I've wanted to meet with him, but he is like $7,500 an hour. Like, that's how sort of unreal his work is and profound.
Wait a second.
And so,
who can afford this?
and well, obviously, I cannot afford that. So I know someone that knows him, and I was again sharing the story of everything I told everyone listening and you guys about.
And I don't want to interrupt you, but I do want to know like what the fuck this guy does that is so magnificent.
Well, he's like
a
a Tony Robbins, basically.
Yeah, so he's inspirational to the degree that it's $7,000 an hour.
It's more like if I could describe it in any way, it is. I would describe it as a loving kick in the ass or a polite rude awakening.
Okay.
And not even as polite. Like it was honestly fucking hilarious. And I feel like I should do a whole podcast.
What did he say to you?
On my meeting with Peter
hold on. But how did this come about? Like, how did you get a free-ish session?
I didn't get a free-ish session. I definitely paid. I didn't pay that much. But we have a mutual friend. And this mutual friend is actually the reason why I went to go work with the horses in Utah and introduced me to my mentor, who I told you guys I've been working with for a while. So she also knows Peter Crone. She's amazing. Her name's Joby. And Joby's like changed my life in so many ways. So funny. Anyway, so I meet with Peter, and I almost want this to be like a whole separate podcast. So I'm only going to mention a little bit of it, but it's just so...
No, come on. We've got time.
No, but it's just so like... There's so much like profoundness in it that I would have to like really sit down and take notes and like tell you guys about it. But
well, I mostly want to know what was the rude awakening.
It was it's a million things. Where let me just think for a second so I can really. Basically, one of the real things that he got to the nitty gritty of is that I am living in a lie that like, and the lie is called I'm not okay. So I talked to him obviously about, meeting people and how, sometimes I get crushes on guys and I fantasize about them.
Sometimes you get crushes on guys. It's very normal.
And no, I'm saying, and I fantasize about them and have this picture in my head, not based on reality, like real things.
Okay.
And how I dated this younger guy and he made me feel like a queen. And, you guys know all the performance anxiety I get with being live on camera and how sometimes I'm like sort of like prepping a lot. And he was just like, you're living in this lie called I'm not going to be okay. And if you just believe that it all always works out and it works out the way it's supposed to, he's like, you wouldn't give a fuck about a guy not texting you back or a guy in the room or a prettier girl in the room because you would just know that it is all going to work out in the way you're supposed to. And so if I told you that you're going to meet your guy in March, you could fucking complain about it, but it's December and you're not going to meet your guy till March. So it's not going to make a difference. And so then he talks about sort of this construct of like how everyone thought the world was flat. And that's the kind of the construct that I'm living in, the construct of I'm not going to be okay. Because I'm like, well, being an on-camera personality, like what if a huge fear that a lot of people have is getting canceled, losing their job or whatever, And he's like, if that happened to you, you would lose your job that might lead to a better career. You're not going to lose your career. So again, that's just you not trusting that everything's going to be okay. Yeah. And it's all working out like for the greater good. And it's just, but if I definitely want to talk about it more, but it was just so interesting because he's like, you're so scared about rejecting or like getting rejected. Let's say it's like from a person or whatever. He's like, but the energy of rejection is in you. He's like, you are rejecting life. You don't like any outcome. And you're trying to like calculate, manipulate, analyze, even attract, like through law of attraction, when it's like not up to you. And the only truth that exists is that we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen 10 years from now. We're never going to know what's going to happen. All we ever have is the now. And I was like, yeah, well, I have. And basically he was saying, he's like, you're prepping like your baseline energetic vibration is fear. Like you're prepping a bunch because you have this fear that you're going to lose your job, like on something that hasn't even happened yet. And I'm like, yeah, well, like what if the cameras went down and I had to like fill an hour of live TV or whatever? He's like, all right, well, that's just called being responsible. He's like, I'm talking about how you do it. You're doing everything through fear when you could just be literally like, I'm going to do a great job. I'm the best at what I do. And I don't know what's going to happen that day, but I'm going to study my ass off. He's like, who knows? Maybe you'll prep more because you're not prepping also for the anxiety you think you're going to have when you categorically don't know that you're going to have anxiety that day. And like, it was just so much of that, but like sort of yelling in a way, like it's like sort of like from like a loving father or uncle that was so funny. And it was like an hour and a half. And he was like, the biggest thing that he said was like, you may not want to hear this, but like you could be single by the time this game's over. Like you could be single your entire life. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, well, I feel like it's going to take, he's like, I don't for one second think that's what's going to happen, but that is a possibility. And until you reconcile with that, you're always going to be on the edge of like, you're never going to be free. Basically, the product that he sells is freedom. It's like inner freedom. He works with like massive athletes and all this stuff. He was telling me about this, this huge baseball player that he works with, and that he's like one of the best hitters in the game, like ever. And that he like sucked. And Peter was basically like, listen, I'm like your family. I don't want you to suck, but you're denying the fact that you have the capacity to suck. He's like, that is in your tool belt. And he's like, once he got it, it really clicked for him. So it's sort of me coming to terms with like, I very much could leave this world single. And not that I think that that would happen, but until I could be okay with that, it's like when they say what you resist persists, essentially. And so he was like, he's basically saying like what you resist persists. And so then I said to him, I was like, well, I feel like that's going to take me a long time. I feel like that in particular is going to take a long time for me to marinate, and he goes, maybe it'll click tomorrow. And you know what happened? The next day it clicked. Okay, and so it's just so funny. He's like, you're just in your story, and everyone is just in their story. That younger guy that made you feel like a queen, he was like, the queen just is. He didn't do anything that made you feel like a queen. The queen exists. She's there. Yeah. And he's like, I'm a king. I don't have someone worshiping me. I'm not dating anyone. He's like, but I'm a king. And literally it was just like, imagine just like sitting in the corner being told this for like an hour and a half of just like this after this and example after example, where like, it was just so profound. Even when he said the energy of rejection is in you. He's like, you're so scared of rejecting, but you're like not okay with like all outcomes. He's like, accept all of it, and that's really when you can be free, because then it doesn't bother you anymore. If you know that you could like die single, if you know that you could lose a job, but not your career or whatever, like none of it bothers you anymore. And you're not trying to work or calculate or analyze or attract how it's all supposed to happen.
Yeah. And I feel like that's kind of like the video we saw of like, you zoom on you and then zooms out into the universe and the universe into the whole thing. It's kind of like having that mentality being yelled at to you.
Exactly.
Gotta talk about this crazy fact. 80 million men and women experience thinning hair loss, and this is in the U.S. alone. And it's still not openly talked about, which can make going through it feel scary and stressful, and stress just adds to that problem.
One way to help the thinning hair that I know that a lot of you are struggling with, you see it like come out in clumps, you see a thinning hairline. One surefire way to help with hair loss is Nutrafol. And Nutrafol is a physician-formulated to be 100% drug-free, and it has potent botanicals that help you grow new hair, and there's a wellness quiz that is customized to your own personal hair growth. So if you guys want to see results for Nutrafol, do it for 3 to 6 months, and there will be way more new growth sprouting, and you can see it all with the consistency of the length of the new baby hair. So if all of your length of your new baby hairs are the same, that means it is new regrowth. So 100% try Nutrafol. You got nothing to lose.
Yes. So, my friends, you can grow thicker, healthier hair and support our show by going to Nutrafol.com and using our promo code GETIT. You'll save $15 off your first month's subscription. This is their best offer available anywhere, and it's only available to U.S. customers for a limited time. Plus, free shipping on every order. Get $15 off at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com. Promo code GET IT for hair as strong as you are.
And he was also saying, and I don't know if this will apply to everyone, but he was like, I believe in an infinite intelligence. I think that's very clear, personally. And he was like, do you believe that you're smarter than infinite intelligence in the universe?
What does infinite intelligence mean? Does that mean
like God, the universe?
Aliens? Like a higher power?
Yeah, a higher being. He's like, do you believe that is at play? And I was like, yes. And he goes, do you believe you are smarter than that? And I was like, no.
And he goes, okay,
Then let
fucking
it do its
relax.
job.
Yeah. Stop trying to figure it out. He's like, I didn't get the memo that Naz Perez knows how she's going to meet her guy or knows how she's like going to do all, you know what I'm saying? Like, et
So
cetera,
do you
et
think
cetera,
this
et cetera.
pertains more to your relationship or to your work?
I think it's everything. I think it's like what I've always been on the path of is I don't think a lot of people know outwardly unless you listen to our podcast. Like, I think if people just followed me on Instagram or saw me in general, people probably don't know the amount of anxiety that I will sometimes face when it comes to work or like sometimes in dating. And the anxiety isn't necessarily in meeting guys. It'll come in, you know, through anxious attachment and all this stuff. But if you think about it, it is all in this construct of my quote unquote, the world is flat, which is not true. And my construct is I'm not going to be okay.
Right.
It's all out of this thing. But because I kept asking it was so funny. I was like, all right, so what mantras, like what do I do every day? And he's like, I'm not fucking playing your game. he's like,
you're like, what can I plan to not
I'm
feel
like, so what do I do? And he's like, that's not how it works. He's like, when the world was flat, he's like, what was the main fear? And I was like, the main fear was that everyone was going to fall off the edge. He goes, exactly. He goes, so if I sold a bracelet during that period of time that people would attach to their ankles and it would go off before you hit the edge, he goes, I would be a billionaire. People would be like, let me get 5 for my family and like whatever. He's like, because it was all based on this fear that wasn't even real. He's like, and what do we know to be true today? And I'm like, that the world is not flat. He goes, exactly. Try and jump off of it. He's like, fucking go. You'll get 18 inches. He's like, you're stuck to it. And so basically what he was trying to say is that my techniques, whether it's in the form of prepping or even asking him for mantras and stuff I can do every day, he's like, that's you just asking for a bracelet because you're living in this construct of thinking you're not going to be okay, when in reality, it all fucking works out. And so it was just so funny in the way that Ashley, you know, shared this nanny story, because I actually went to a coffee shop this weekend to get some work done. And it's funny, like I'm very much like, I'm just going to let shit come to me. And I really, truly, I've always said out loud, I believe it all works out and stuff. But
I know. That's why I'm like, is this really shocking to you? Because I always feel like this has been something that we kind of believe.
So I said that to him, Ashley. I was like, yeah, well, I know. He's like, well, no, you fucking don't. Because if you did, you wouldn't have been calling me. And I'm like,
you don't apply it.
I'm like, you're right. And it doesn't, it's so true. And it was so funny. I went to this coffee shop to work, and without doing anything, without like, you know, putting makeup on or trying to meet a cute guy or anything. And this wasn't like a romantic meeting by any means, but this guy next to me just started talking to me randomly. I had my headphones in and he was like, I just felt like I wanted to talk to you and blah, blah, blah. And we ended up having this amazing conversation. Turns out he's the director of like 10 Things I Hate About You. And I'm like, wow, it's really funny. I didn't have to try or do anything. This person just flowed into my experience. Who knows if we'll work together one day? It doesn't matter if we do. The whole point is that I wasn't like, let me go to a coffee shop and meet and make a connection of someone who's big in Hollywood. It just fucking happened.
And I think about every person you've ever really met that made an impact. Were you planning on meeting them?
Right. But think about how many, I think particularly single women, and I've been someone who has done this in my past, has like tried to calculate or manipulate or try to meet someone, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe I'll bump into him or blah, 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 or this person will introduce me, when it's like, it's all just going to happen. And look at how I met you guys.
Yeah.
You know, like I was working.
But I've also like schemed my way into meeting people, and it's been significant.
Yes, but but I'm sure it also caused a lot of suffering maybe sometimes.
Sure.
Exactly.
Where would I be today? I don't know.
But do you get what I mean? It's like you don't even have to will things into power. They're just going to happen.
I don't know. I like the power of will, though.
Yeah, I like willing. I think I always did too, but I think I'm not of that mindset anymore.
But doesn't that go against your manifestation?
In a way. So that's where I felt sort of confused, because I was like, well,
in law of attraction. I feel like I can like attract everything I want. And I think what I'm coming to the realization is like when you have desires within you, like Ashley, you have different desires than me. Lauren has different desires than I do. I just have to trust that whatever you desire is going to come to you. It's a matter of not getting in the way of it coming to you anymore, which is what Peter Crone was essentially helping me realize. Mm-hmm. And there's 3 scenarios that you can look at life. One is worst case scenario. That's A. B is neutral, which is we don't know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And C is like you can attract and have anything you want. He's like, that's what you would call the law of attraction. He's like, what you're trying to do right now is get from A, prepping for worst case scenario always, to C. And he's like, you can't skip B. You at least have to be neutral and just recognize the fact that you are fucking clueless and you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so that, once you're in that state, then you can have fun with sort of co-creating and building the life you want. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I guess Naz won't be doing any love spells on her porch anytime soon.
No, not anymore. And I really just feel like, I mean, listen, I could fucking die and be single. I mean, that's just one small possibility.
Well, do you ever before?
I don't think that'll happen.
Would you ever like whenever I'm anxious and create scenarios in my head, I go through all the like how I'm going to be okay if that thing actually were to happen, like. Right. I'm going to be okay. I'm okay. Did you do that before this session? Like, oh, if I get canceled and I fuck up on air, then this will happen and this will happen and then I'll be okay.
Yeah. I mean, I could go through any scenario, right? Yeah. Like, I think your parents dying is a big one that most people our age have, right? Like, oh my God, what would happen? Blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, everything is working out for your greatest good. And you see it in stories all the time. Like people are like, I didn't work for 2 years. And then because that happened to me, I had my big break. And you know what I mean? It's like it's a matter of not always anticipating the worst, which is what most people live in, which is what I live in a lot, you know, and trying to avoid that instead of just trusting yourself and trusting the universe has got your back.
Let me say this. I think that this mentality of you even like searching for some kind of answer or help or whatever this is automatically going to make you go towards the successful route. Because I'm thinking of like people who are like, I don't even know, like literally in the dumps. They have nothing to their name. The worst case. I don't know if in their minds they've ever been like, let me see what's getting in my way, you know, let me see, you know, so like
that's true.
Yeah.
Like there's very different mentalities and you're already on this road. Like there's someone who probably could very much use this help, but they probably won't seek it, you know?
Right. Well, that's what I was saying. I feel like I could do bonus podcasts with so much that I've like learned, but we're always learning. It never ends. Right. And I'm not trying to get to an end and like free myself of all anxiety. Like anxiety is going to happen. What I have always really wanted is inner peace and freedom, because that's when you're attractive. That's when life is fun. That's when everything is way more fun. I mean, we hear it all the time. People are in their dream jobs and it's miserable for them. And that's, you guys know that's been me too. And I'm like, it's a matter of me being like, well, if I fucking love what I'm doing, why do I feel this way?
Right.
You know? Right. And it was also a matter of trying to control the romantic part of my life in the same way I sort of tried to attack my career, which is, it's completely different software programs. Yeah. You know, like, and it's being open, like he was saying, to rejection. So when he was saying, like, he was telling his athlete he has the capability to suck, he's like, you have the capability to suck at relationships. And you are not accepting of that. You don't like that. And until you're like, oh, this is the case, you're just going to constantly be avoiding, and you're avoiding the fact that you're available for rejection. And now I'm like, nothing can get in my fucking way. I don't care, because if it all works out, it doesn't matter if that guy likes you back or not. You know?
That's
if you really believe that.
Yeah. I feel like it's very easy to have that mentality with guys.
I want to see how you put it in practice. So update us in like a month.
Yes, I will. I mean, that's the hard.
I don't say that with caution. I just actually want to see if you feel like,
I mean,
you do deal with things differently.
Well, I think because it's marinating now, you're like, I'm way more self-aware. But what I think where I get caught is I get mad, right? If I'm not like perfect the next day. When this is like, these are muscles. I mean, you practice living in fear when you have anxiety. That's something you've practiced for like, 32 years now?
Yeah.
So it like takes so much time. You know what I mean? Like lived in experience to really not let shit shake you the way it used to. Thrive. I am loving Thrive Cosmetics. Cosmetics spelled as cause, like Cause Cosmetics. This is a company that I love so much because they really give back by using them. So not only do I feel pretty, and not only are their products pretty fire, like this isn't something that you could just like walk in a store and buy. Thrive is like, first of all, their sunproof 3-in-1 invisible priming sunscreen I wore all summer as my daily moisturizer leaving my house. It is so thin. It's so amazing. You can wear it under your makeup.
It's 37 SPF.
Don't forget, sunscreen is not just for summer.
100%.
Yes.
And I would lather this shit on my hand. I would lather this stuff on my hands, on my neck. And it's very lightweight. It's like a hydrating gel. And it appears clear on every single skin tone. I'm telling you, I'm obsessed with it. The other thing I'm obsessed with that isn't even like in our ad to share, but it's this. Did you guys get that lip stuff? That
Yes.
like clear
The
lip.
gloss? Yeah,
It's
it's
like
great. It's a great topper.
conditioner. It's amazing. And I literally put it on every morning, every night, and it makes my lips feel super juicy. I love, love, love Thrive Cosmetics.
One more thing.
I am obsessed. Wait. My turn.
Okay.
My turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it's the same
thanks.
thing.
Okay, well, what is it? 1, 2, 3.
The brilliant eye
liquid
brighter.
lashes. Okay, Lauren, fine. Go
Okay,
first.
well, I just love the brilliant eye brighter because I have so many U's that sit in my salon chair, and I didn't know that you absolutely cannot leave the house without a shimmer in the corner of your eye. Like girls will be
of course not.
going to like soccer practice, but need to like put a brightener or a shimmer in the corner of your eye. And Thrive has like a beautiful brightening stick that is like really easy to apply, so you can look really cool and hip. So that's what I like.
Okay. Well, me real quick. Okay. The Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara. You are listening to 3 girls who are recovering lash extension addicts. And we definitely don't believe in them anymore. So this will mimic the look of extensions without damaging the lash. There's no glue, of course. And now you can have a lash extension look, but not have, well, a spider look or have to deal with the salon prices. The salon prices. So you guys, it is a great time to try Thrive Cosmetics for yourself. Right now you get 15% off your first order when you visit thrivecosmetics.com/get it. That is Thrive, CAUSEMETICS. Lauren. thrivecosmetics.com/get it for 15% off your first order. I want to end this podcast with a little like humor. So Lauren, give us an antidote of your Nantucket trip.
Oh yeah, wait, how was it? Weren't you on it, Ashley?
with Hunter's parents? We just went for 24 hours.
Wait, I want to hear about this. Wow, this is like an update podcast.
Just like a little fun antidote. You can fill us in some other time completely.
We didn't.
But,
We didn't sit at the bar.
Okay.
Is it because you said something?
Did you say something? Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
I'm dead.
I had one of those. I was laughing on the beach because I really just don't enjoy the beach. I've never enjoyed the beach. I don't understand
I
it.
know you don't. It makes me
I
sad.
don't-
Lauren really doesn't like it.
I really don't
It's so
enjoy
sad.
it. It's not relaxing to me because I was thinking about the walk back.
Your birth
you're
control beach.
actually-
What about birth control beach,
Yeah.
Lauren? Tell them about birth control
saw
beach.
that
Birth
on
control beach and the
Ashley's
other two beach. Birth control beach was terrible.
What was birth control beach?
Tell them
It's
why.
called the Children's Beach, and it's basically it was basically like 20 kids just screaming, crying, naked.
And all their parents being annoyed.
They're like, could you just stop? Would you give me that? Would you sit down? Would you go over there? Oh my God, give it to me. Like don't do that again. It was crazy.
No.
And we were there for 45 minutes because
there
Dawson
for
was losing his mind.
But oh, it was terrible. Anyways, that was Children's Beach. But I just don't really enjoy the beach. But then I was thinking about Naz eating spaghetti on the beach, and I laughed.
Wow, I love how I gave you comedic relief. In my
literally, the only thing I think of when I'm on the beach is the walk back from the beach and Naz eating hot fucking spaghetti.
Being pissed about
When did she eat spaghetti?
You don't
remember?
Remember
Growing up,
Dominicans?
Oh, that's right. Your mom.
Everyone around us eating fucking chips and sandwiches, and I'm eating hot ass fucking spaghetti and meatballs and Tupperware.
I was hungry and I was eating a cold Caesar wrap. I'm like, this is good. I could never imagine eating fucking spaghetti right now. It was so bad.
The one food you don't want to eat when you're in a bathing suit. What?
Lauren, the fact that popped in your head and I didn't even remember until we were sitting here during this conversation is so
it's
funny.
Every time my foot hits the sand, I think of Naz eating spaghetti.
I gotta do it now and take a picture so you have a visual.
Oh, it's so gross.
See, when you brought that conversation up, I was like, damn, spaghetti and the beach, two beautiful things put together. Now, it's the red sauce the red sauce really throws you. But if you had a butter sauce, you can do that.
You know what's so funny? Ashley would 100% been a perfect Dominican because Ashley would 100% eat pasta on the beach.
Because she would say, we have it at home, we'll bring it.
Yes,
we have pasta at home.
Yeah.
Ashley is the mom version of we have it at home.
Yep.
We have it at home, guys. All right. Well, we have Indian food sitting downstairs at home, and I'm really excited to dig in. Jared was the one who ordered it, so we'll see how it goes. I bet you I go down there, go through the bag, and I'm like, where's
There's no
the white rice?
naan or anything.
There's no naan.
No, it's probably the white rice missing.
Basmati.
So we got
basmati.
I love
yes.
good basmati
So
rice.
we'll see how he did. But it's so funny that I have turned white boy Jared into Indian. He's the one that suggested it. He loves Indian food, and he's the guy that only likes rotisserie chicken and potatoes. But he asked about Indian food all the time.
Indian food is a great topic before we leave this podcast because it's a straight yes or no from people. Do you eat Indian? People are like, yes, I love it, or people are like, no, I don't eat it. I've never.
I don't think people who say no have even ever had it.
I agree because it's fucking delicious.
It's delicious. There's nothing wrong with
saucy rice and chicken.
Now, I've only had Thai food once, and I don't really get Thai food.
Oh, really? I love Thai.
Thai is good.
I love seafood, so
sauce.
Thai is very me. I don't eat pad Thai. I'll have rice and shrimp curry with yellow sauce. It's so good. Yeah.
Oh, see, I don't know nothing
Lauren,
about it.
There's this pad CU. That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would never pick it.
Yeah, I think you'd like it. Saucy noodles. Come on. Can't get anything wrong with anything saucy.
All right, guys. We'll see you next
Saucy.
week. Enjoy your
See
time
y'all.
on Earth. Bye.
Bye. Love you.
I don't get it.